officially, it's Thursday. The time is 5 o'clock, actually 5:30. And we have not vlogged anything today. I went to Costco's to try to find some pumpkins for us to carve on Halloween, and they were completely out. Walmart didn't have any pumpkins. Went to Kroger, which is our grocery store here, and found my cart was full. So went to Kroger and I ended up getting some small pumpkins. They had some, so I got those, and just finished cooking dinner. I decided I was going to cook dinner early today and see how that works out for my life. So they actually ate dinner at 5. We just had some vegetarian sloppy joes with corn on the cob and some french fries. So a very simple, easy meal tonight. So they had that. I am gonna wait for Lonnie to get home, so for my husband to get home before I eat and eat dinner with him. He went to work today. So I thought I would pull out the camera and just sum up Vlogtober, since today is the 29th. Yep, today's the 29th. And we only have 2 more days. Tomorrow is Flashback Friday, so we'll be flashing back. So I won't see y'all tomorrow. And then Halloween is Saturday, and we'll be doing stuff with the kids, so I'll vlog that or whatever. So I thought I would just sit down with y'all and we just kind of sum up October in a nutshell. And I just kind of share my thoughts about Vlogtober and all of that stuff. So first of all, I really genuinely enjoyed doing Vlogtober with you guys. Just the same as Vlogmas. I enjoyed Vlogmas the first time we did it. I tried to do it last year and it failed, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. Genuinely enjoy doing the vlog, the everyday vlogs or whatever. I don't enjoy trying to upload them. I enjoy editing them, playing with the videos and all of that stuff. Like, all of that is fun to me, and I genuinely enjoy doing that. But when you struggle with your technology that you have, because you don't have the latest and the greatest, it definitely makes it more of a struggle. But so that part it's a little frustrating when you have to get a video up every day. It's not as frustrating for me when I'm trying to be on my schedule. So I know, oh, I need to have this video edited and uploaded before, you know, Friday or whatever. But trying to do one every day that you gotta upload, yeah, y'all, the struggle was real. But other than that, I genuinely enjoyed it. Today I almost did not vlog, and partially because, y'all, what I've learned, like the reason I didn't finish Vlogmas last year is because my life just turned chaotic. Like, it just got crazy. We had so much going on. We moved, like we sold our house literally right before Christmas, and I'll talk about that another day in a life update or something like that type video. But yeah, we sold our house like literally right before Christmas, and then we had sold it without having another place to go. We opened up our second location December 19th. Like, it was just so much going on, and we were literally like homeless for 2 weeks as we tried to find somewhere else to move. So, you know, we were staying in hotels and Airbnbs, which was okay because we were traveling back and forth. And then you had Christmas, and my husband and the kids went to my mother-in-law's. I stayed in Alabama and worked. So it worked out because we were kind of everywhere anyway, but it was still chaotic. And what I've learned, like doing Vlogtober, is that my life in a 30-day span can become crazy. Like, in a blink of an eye, my life could just go all the way south. And so that happened quite a few times throughout Vlogtober. where something would come up and I would just be like, oh my God, like I'm not gonna vlog, or I gotta deal with this issue and, you know, just vlog, and I'm not gonna do it. And I would push through it because I set this goal for myself, and I try to follow through and commit as much as possible. When I make commitments to myself, I like to try to push myself a little bit. There are times where I'm just like, I'm sorry, it's done, it's over, I'm not doing it. It helps when you have, you know, people invested with you, to kind of keep you motivated, because you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this for such and such. Kind of like having kids. There are days when, as a mother, you don't want to get out of the bed, like, well, me anyway, where you don't want to do life. Like, you just want to be like, I just want to lay here and do nothing. But because you have kids, they motivate you to, you know, push beyond those frustrations. Bradley, can you hand me my laptop real quick? And so, because y'all really should be doing some work right now. Thank you. It might be dead, so just pause for a second, because I might. It helps when you have some, you know, people invested. You know, you have your kids and you're like, okay, well, I gotta feed them, they have to eat, so let me get out of the bed and do what I need to do to take care of them. So I think, you know, having my non-traditional family, you know, you guys, and those of you who take the time to comment or watch the vlogs, or actually like, just hit the like button, something as simple as that, it helps to keep me motivated to push beyond whatever obstacles I'm going through at that current time in my life. And so Brene, hi Brene, one of the family members, one of our MVPs, she asked, how has business been since the pandemic? So thanks, Brene, for asking and thinking about us during this time. And honestly, y'all, it has been a struggle. I'm just gonna keep it real. It's been a struggle. You know, we're thankful that we did reopen our doors, so we are still open. We are still in business, because so many small businesses did not survive, you know, just those few months of being closed. And so for that, we're extremely thankful. And so I think, just piggybacking off of that for a second, for me, YouTube is just my hobby. It's and I know y'all hear tons of people who do YouTube say that, but for me, it literally is a hobby. It is a form of self-care in a way for me, because at my core, I like to create. So before we owned a business, before I started my private practice, I did photography. And so that, you know, I like to write. Like, I've always been a writer and writing poems. When I was in high school, I won awards for doing poetry. I was a public speaker. And so that creative outlet, that's who I am at my core. And so YouTube for me is a way to feed all of that, you know, from the photography to the trying to edit and learn something new, to the talking to you guys, you know, my sit down, my Tuesday chats, the parenting videos, just the fact that from doing YouTube sparked me to write my book and actually finish it. The pandemic helped me with that, y'all. I'm trying my best not to be too gory on y'all. So just YouTube provides me with all of that, but it is more of a hobby. Like, for me, I own a business, and not a business that's an online business. And again, I'm not taking away from that type of business. Oh my God, y'all, this camera about to drive me crazy. Maybe if I turn that off. Not that I'm taking away from an online business, but we have a brick and mortar business, and we have two, and they are six hours away from each other. And so that is my bread and butter. Like, that is what we do. We don't work full-time jobs somewhere else, and that's just a hustle or a second stream of income. That is our baby, our main source. And so I will say, for me as a business owner, and it's not like we don't sell t-shirts, we're not like a store where you go in and purchase things. We are an indoor play space for kids. And so and we have employees and things like that. And so for me, there are those times where I struggle doing this, you know, doing YouTube and sharing my life, when I know that I have, you know, employees and things like that that could very well have access to this part of me. And so there's that struggle. So I tend not to talk a lot about business on my YouTube. I try very hard not to. It's a conscious thing, even though it is a part of my life. So there's parts of me that want to share all of that with y'all, and then there's other parts where I'm like, I have to be able to keep that separate. It's hard, y'all. It's hard to explain. But I will talk just a minute about it, because it almost made me want to stop doing Vlogtober, because I run into issues with the business where I have to step in and deal with this fire and put this out. And sometimes the fires are so massive, y'all, that it could just burn me out for the day. And I'm just like, I don't want to have to vlog. And I'm not the type of person that's gonna get on a vlog and boo-hoo cry. Maybe in the future, you never know what life has in store. But for me, I'm just like, if I'm not feeling it, if I'm not in the mood, for me, if it's a big issue, I just rather not even vlog. Versus, you know, my computer didn't come back right. I can vent my frustrations with y'all. But when it comes to business, it's a little different. And so because of that, there are times where I'm just like, I'm not gonna vlog. And so today was one of those days. Like yesterday, I was vlogging a little bit here and there, but we were also working. And midday, we sat down trying to just decompose from our day, and we just got gut punched with information about the business, which has happened a lot with 2020. And so one of our businesses is in Alabama, if you guys don't know already. And so we're right on the coast, which is a beautiful and jumping jelly bean location, but we're right on the coast where you bring your child, and when you leave, you know they're going to be sick. Like hurricane that has came through the coast, the third. And so, you know, we shut that business down, of course, for the pandemic. Then shortly after opening, we had the first hurricane, and we closed for that. The second hurricane wasn't as, you know, strenuous, didn't have as much, so we were able to stay open. And then this one, we were like, okay, what's about to happen? And so it's just things like that where, you know, you can be rocking and rolling, and then boom, you're like gut punched. And so for us, with the pandemic, you know, we require a mask, as I believe all businesses do, and if not should. Where we live, where both of our business are, is mandated by the state, so that makes it easier for us to be like, put your mask on. However, we deal with kids, and so there's that gray of like, you know, as a parent, how do you make yourself feel comfortable in a space where you're wearing a mask, which is also a constant reminder that there's this thing going around, but you want to let your kids play. So there's that whole psychological aspect of it, I think, that a lot of people struggle with. And so trying to get people to feel comfortable enough to come indoors, because a lot of food places is, you know, they eat on the patio if they're going to eat in or whatever. Trying to get people to come indoors and play has been a struggle. It has been a struggle. a lot of our repeat customers, a lot of our customers know how clean our facility is. We have stood on that from day one, prior to there ever even being the word pandemic in people's vocabulary, prior to us even knowing that this thing called corona could ever even exist. We were top notch in our industry for cleanliness. I'm a mom and I understand kids have germs. So I just kept the facility and required that our facility stay clean just because kids carry germs. And for me as a mom, one of the things when I opened the play space, I remember when I would take my kids, like if I take my kids to a museum, or if I take my kids to a indoor little playground place, without calling out businesses' names, but if I would take them into a little indoor playground place, or to a museum, or anywhere where kids are playing, I kid you not, y'all, every time my kids would get sick, every single time. And so that, when we opted to go into the indoor realm, for me, I was like, we will not be that. My kids are gonna be here, other kids are gonna be here, so this space will be a safe haven. This will be a space where parents can say without a doubt 100% we are clean. So that was already in place for us. So this whole corona thing with the requirements and standards that were put in place hasn't affected us when it comes to cleaning, because we were already doing 98% of the stuff that is being required that other businesses are now doing. We have just always been on top of that. So so that part hasn't affected us. We are at, you know, half capacity, things like that, just trying to make sure people can stay 6 feet apart from each other, which is hard when you have kids, right? You can't tell a child, hey, don't go within 6 feet of that kid. So, you know, those things are hard, which then makes it hard for a lot of parents to, you know, want to come play. So we've put in models and business models to try to combat this new normal that we're currently living in, with the hopes that that will help and work. So, you know, for us, I mean, I really don't know how to explain it. The pandemic has truly affected us, as we're not seeing the amount of people come through our doors that we were seeing pre-pandemic, but we're still here. We're still here, we're still surviving. So there's that part, you know, and we're gonna fight the good fight, you know. That's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna continue to try and, you know, let people know that our space is a safe space for them to come and to play, to feel safe and protected and all of that. So but yeah, I said all that to say that because of that, because we're in the midst of a pandemic, because I'm a business owner, and because YouTube is not paying my bills, when something comes up with business, it virtually makes it, for me, almost paralyzes me when it comes to YouTubing and doing things like vlogs. And so with Vlogmas, that's why I just stopped, because so much was going on, y'all, personally in my life, and then business wise. We were in the midst of opening up our second location, and it was not easy. Like, why is Jaden, why are you calling me? Huh? Jaden, hello?
Have you seen my phone?
It was down here on the charger.
Yeah, I know. I know where it is though. I think I left it down on the charger, and then I think I got it. I don't know what I did with it.
Yeah, well, I don't see it there anymore. Did you call it? Y'all being weird. I'm hanging up.
I'm calling you on my phone.
What? I'm hanging up. What kind of kids do I have, y'all? Anyway, so I was saying, opening up a second business was hard, y'all. It was hard. I mean, we don't live there, and so in the midst, I just kind of was like, I can't do this whole YouTube thing, and so I just quit. And honestly, throughout Vlogtober, there was a lot of those moments where something would gut punch me, and I would be like, all right, I'm not vlogging. But I did it. I pushed through it. And here we are, you know, the 29th. And I made it 31 days. 31 days vlogging every single day. And just kind of trying to give y'all a glimpse into, you know, my life and everyday life, especially during a pandemic. Like, this is my normal, as much as possible, with still trying to have a sense of I own a business and not putting so much of myself out there and so much of the business stuff out there. I do follow some YouTubers who own businesses. A lot of them own like brick and mortars. And most of them is restaurants. And I feel like that's different than what we have. Maybe not, I don't know. And also a lot of them is just one location, and that makes a difference. Some of them, they had their YouTube first and then opened up a business. I think that makes a difference. So I do struggle with that. I do, you know, being 100% honest with y'all. And I have said before, you know, that help my channel get to 5,000, and we got to 4. We're at 4,000, y'all, which is amazing to me, like amazing. But as I see that number grow, there is a part of me that's like, maybe I should stop doing this. That just kind of wants to go back into my little shell, because I don't know, it's like, you know, for me, I think about, not that I'm Jeff Bezos by any stretch of the means, but I'm like, hey, he's not doing YouTube, right? He wasn't doing YouTube, not that there was a YouTube, but would he be in 2020 doing YouTube if he was just starting out? Would he? I don't know. Because that's another thing. Anything that we do extra takes away from our business time, if that makes sense. Anything we add extra to our plate is taken away from us being 100% focused on our business. And because our businesses aren't 110 self-sufficient, that becomes hard. That means they still need our hands in them a lot. And I read a book that talked about the one thing, and in that book, and I'll leave it linked below, he talks about how you focus on one thing until that one thing is 100% self-sufficient. Then you can move on to focusing on something else. So because our businesses are not 100% self-sufficient, they still need us. Anytime we do anything extra, it diverts our attention. So take my book, for example, which is also linked below. Plug. I have been writing it forever, but to finish it, like, I couldn't, because I 100% focused on my business and growing my business. So when the pandemic happened and we shut down, there was nothing. Like, you know, of course we were still trying to figure everything out, so we were still working, but in a different kind of way. Like, we weren't having to physically go to the locations. We weren't having to deal with employee issues or customer related issues. We were strictly dealing with accounting, taxes, how to keep the business alive, like how do we reopen our doors, how do we get money into our salaried employees' hands during the pandemic. Like we were focused on those things, and so that freed up so much time for me that I was like, I'm gonna take this time and finish my book, which was really important to me. So it wasn't taken away from that, but now that we're reopened, anything I do takes away from that. So vlogging, because I don't vlog my business, when I'm vlogging, it's taken away from me doing business. So for example, right now I'm thinking about how I need to check on this Instagram post and this Facebook post that needs to go up and be live by first thing tomorrow morning. I'm thinking about how you know, I need to see about this newsletter that should have went out. And we have like a social media people that helps deal with those things as well. But I still have to have my hands in it and making sure that these things are done appropriately or done on time and done the way that I want them to be done. So just those things. And so now I'm like, man, wrap this video up because you still got work to do.
This is a bad idea.
What? What was a bad idea?
Do you really want to know?
He just got home from work.
It was a bad idea to roll my pants legs up in this weather. Jordan asked somebody for cold.
This is, let me show y'all. That's how you been wearing his pants. I don't know, some kind of new trend.
That's what the young folks do. They're culottes.
Oh, okay. That's what we're going with. So yeah, so anyway, I hope that answered your question, Renee. Again, thanks for asking about the business and how we're doing and how everything's been, but I hope that somewhat answered your question. Maybe I'll sit down and talk about it in more detail by itself, a video by itself. I don't know. I have a testimony video that I have been waiting to sit down and do with you guys. If you follow me on Instagram and you've been following me, you know I have a hashtag when God says jump, jump. And testimony coming. Those are my like hashtags around our business and stuff like that. So I do hope to sit down. I have one already that I did. It's my 15-minute testimony. I'll leave it linked for you guys that can kind of give you some background on how we got. I don't know if that one was about the indoor spaces. Yes, it's broken. I think that may have been about the inflatables. I'm not sure, but I'll leave it linked. So maybe when I do that, I'll talk more about the business. I don't know, y'all. That's what I'm saying. I gotta work on that part of how much do I want to share with that. My camera, y'all. This camera. So that's it. You know, again, I've really truly enjoyed doing Vlogtober with y'all. It's been so much fun, and I hope y'all have enjoyed it. I hope y'all have enjoyed hanging out with us for 31 days, and yeah, I hope to be back on my regular schedule in November. I can't promise y'all because like I said yesterday, it's like, so I don't know how November's gonna look. I have no idea. My November was already jam-packed with stuff, which I've said in previous vlogs, but I think it just got even busier. I don't know. So we'll see. I will try my best to have a schedule. So if y'all don't know, I try to do Sunday school, Monday marriage, Tuesday chats, Wednesday reviews, and Friday vlogs. What?
Did you get that on camera?
Get what on camera? Yes. I don't understand what y'all are trying to do.
It's a prank. I called you when on my phone with my number, and I said, "Have you seen my phone?"
Yes, but it said Jaden and 2 others.
Jaden and 2 others.
So I didn't know what was happening.
Daddy didn't fall for it.
Oh, he caught it?
I called him and I was like, "Have you seen my phone?" He was like, "You're calling me on it right now." I was like, wow.
That's because you called me and said Jada and 2 others.
Jada and 2 others?
Yes.
You were on the phone with other people?
No, that's what it said when you called. It said Jaden and 2 others.
That's weird.
So I thought you were calling from the computer.
You thought I was calling from the computer and I was literally in the room. Instead of just coming in here and saying, "Have you seen my phone?"
I didn't know what was going on. That's why I was like, what? I don't know. What?
But that was a TikTok prank I've been wanting to do for a long time. You made good content. Because Daddy was just like, "You called me on it." And you know, it's quite funny because I was like, Daddy's probably going to fall for it. And then Mommy's going to be like, "You're calling me on it right now." But it was the opposite.
If you would have called me from my other phone, I might have called.
I tried, but I think it was dead.
Yes, it is.
You're a handful.
All right, y'all. I'm going to go eat dinner. And this might be where I end today's vlog. And I don't know. We'll see. But that's it, y'all. Tomorrow we'll flash back. I have no idea what I want to flash back to. I got to see. I'll let y'all know tomorrow. Then Saturday we'll close out with Halloween. I still like Halloween, y'all. So yeah, that's what we'll do. I love y'all, for real. I love y'all for like hanging out, liking the videos, commenting on the videos, just all of it, just y'all, it's gotten me through those gut punching times that I've had in October. So for that, I am super thankful, and I love y'all, and y'all are the best. Y'all are the MVPs. Like seriously, my family, my non-traditional family, y'all are the MVPs. And it's because you're non-traditional. I'm pretty sure that is why you are the MVPs. So, love y'all. And I will see y'all tomorrow.